Welcome. You're listening to the Quality Cup Life podcast. My name is Imani, and here we talk about the experiences of young adulthood and the pursuit of a life of richness, fullness, and purpose. We've all heard the saying, you need to pour into your own cup first. You don't want to pour from an empty cup. And then we've also all heard when you're on a plane, they say if something go down, make sure that you put on your mask first and make sure you can breathe before you try to help somebody else, because you cannot do much for anybody if you can't breathe. So let's get into it. Today we are talking about Quality Cup Life's breakdown of pursuing a life of overflow and richness. And I'm just talking about the first section, and that section today is your mind and how you view and see different areas. So we're going to break it down in this episode. Stay tuned until the end, and thanks for listening. And so you guys, there was one thing that I forgot to add to the first point that I made when I was talking about checking where you are with yourself. Another thing I meant to say was also look at how and pay attention to how you talk to yourself. And not just how you talk to yourself, but how you see yourself. How do you view yourself? Because that plays a huge part. So yeah, because how you view yourself and how you talk to yourself influences where you are incredibly. So just wanted to add that in. Thanks for listening, and let's get into the show. All right, so for more context, go back to listen to the first two episodes, split between two parts. And in the second episode, I was talking about how Quality Cup Life breaks down how to pour into your cup first and start to view yourself and your life from a perspective of overflow. And we go through this through talking about the mind, body, and money. And today we're going to be talking about the mind, okay? And we're breaking it down into three parts. So the first one is check your pulse, meaning taking the time to assess where you are in your life, and is this where you want to be, and are you going in that direction? And if you're not, okay, stop what you're doing. You got to assess where you are. Okay, how did I get here? Okay, and then how do I start to go in the direction that I envisioned, or the direction that I really want or value, and that I think will really bring purpose, joy, peace into my life. And for an example, for me, a way of me checking my pulse lately has been stopping to assess, okay, Imani, you say you want more relationships and more meaningful relationships in your life. Okay, why don't you have more? Well, how did you contribute to this? And I was looking for ways for me to take responsibility, because I cannot control what another human does, but I can control what Imani does. And I realized that, okay, Imani, you don't really share much about yourself. So if you don't share much about yourself, how can somebody relate to you? How can somebody trust you if you don't share? I'm a great listener. I'll listen to you talk all day. But when it comes to trusting people enough to share stuff about me, that's been more of a challenge for me. So, yeah. And then, so the second part is position your squad. And what that means is looking at the relationships that you have in your life. And that could be like the people you're closest to, and even the people you're maybe not as close to, and figuring out, okay, what do they bring to the relationship? And what do I bring to the relationship? What are the things that are healthy about this relationship? What are the things that are not? Are these people going in the direction of my values and of my goals? And if they are not, you need to position them elsewhere, position them somewhere else. That doesn't mean you have to kick them out of your life completely, but just that way you know how much time you should be spending with them, talking to them, or if they're internet people that you watch all the time, okay, how much time do I need to be spending watching these people, if any at all? That could be family members, friends, that could be associates, that could be freaking coworkers, that could be podcasts you listen to. It could be just, you need to take a look at people in your life and then figure out where to position those people. And then the last piece is glow with God. How is my relationship with God? Have I been cultivating it? Have I been seeking him? Have I been like being honest with God and being honest to myself about my relationship with God? Am I actually looking to see what is his purpose for me? What does he actually want for me, and not just what I want for me? And what makes me feel good and what makes me feel safe? Because as humans, we can kind of flip-flop on our feelings. Our feelings are one minute and here the next minute. And so God is always stable. He's been stable since the beginning of time. So check to see, okay, where am I in my relationship with God? Does it need some work? Like, do I need to spend more time with him? Am I not spending time with him at all? Like, do I need to like get into the word more? You know what I mean? Do I need to just sit still and like listen? Like, you know what I mean? And so this whole mind breakdown is a lot of assessing yourself, assessing your relationships around you, and assessing your relationship with God. Where are you with these three elements? You know what I mean? And so an example for glow with God, for me personally, I realized recently that I pray a lot and I talk to God a lot, but I wasn't listening as much. Like, my brain be like, we're going. And so it's a challenge for me to slow my mind down, to get still, be in peace, so that way I can start to hear God's voice. And even also when I'm like reading the Bible as well, like, is my brain going, or am I there in peace and able to let it speak to me? Not just, I know this probably sounds a little woo-woo, but you know, just being real here. And I think that's very important. And then I also forgot to say an example for position your squad, I think. Or maybe I did, but I'm going to give you another example anyway. So for position your squad, I did. I gave the college example. But I'm going to give you a friend example as well. So I was cool with some people from, I'm going to say high school, whatever. And I realized also that I was making a mistake of giving and always being there for these people and always being there to listen. And if they needed anything, I would try to be there for them and try to encourage them and all these things. But it wasn't mutual. I wasn't getting anything back. And it's not really like you do for me, and then I do for you, and then you do exactly the equal amount back. It's more like equal giving and equal sacrifice. And that's not like, I wasn't looking for something in return, like, yeah, give it back to me. But like, man, if the relationship just feels one-sided, it's just like, dang, like, I had to really sit and think, is what I'm giving and what they're giving to this relationship, is it worth it to me? And is it worth my time? Is it going in the direction of what our values are and what I think my future holds? Like, you know what I mean? And I had to realize that a lot of those people weren't aligned with the Imani that I could see. I could see her, but I'm like, okay, why can't I get to her? And a part of it was because I was spending a lot of time hanging out with people or talking to people or even thinking about them. And that was taking me backwards instead of forwards. And that's not to, of course, because I don't want people in the comments or whatever being like, well, think she's perfect or whatever. No, but it's just about taking responsibility for yourself all the time. It's specifically about that, because you cannot take responsibility for nobody else, and you can't control anybody else, what they do or anything like that. So that's just like the basic breakdown of the mind part. And of course we can unpack more of this later, but it's just a quick, you get it type of thing, so you can kind of understand where I'm coming from, and then also what Quality Cup is about and where it's coming from. And stay tuned for the next 2 weeks, and we'll break down body and we'll break down money as well. So thank you so much for listening or watching if you're on YouTube. Appreciate it. See you next week. Bye.